We're very excited to talk to this guy. He is the inspiration. He's the story behind Urban Cowboy, and we've talked to everybody involved. We've talked to Bud, we've talked to Sissy, we've talked to Wes, we've talked to the man that created the whole thing. Mr. Aaron Latham is here. How are you, sir?
Good to be here.
You got to be proud and excited to see something. Did you have any idea? First of all, let's go back years when you went to Gillies and the whole Urban Cowboy thing started. I've seen there's a story about going to your website, and there's a funny story about when you actually came to write. See, I see the smile on your face. So tell me a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, when I started out to write the story, when I went to Gillies for the very first time, it was, on the one hand, I was kind of intimidated. On the other hand, I felt right at home. So it was sort of like I was going, and all these guys in there were my cousins because I'd grown up in Texas. But on the other hand, I felt a little bit like Margaret Mead stepping ashore in Samoa for the first time, discovering a whole new culture.
Well, and you were writing for Esquire, correct?
Right, living in New York.
You're living in New York, and the assignment was for you to write a story, or somebody went to Gillies and then said, hey, you need to do a story on this.
My boss went to Gillies. He came down to do a symposium at Rice University, a publishing symposium. And as his honorarium, he asked for a tour of Houston by night. And the editors of the Texas Monthly took him out to Gillies. And they thought of it as just a good bar, and he thought of it as a good story. Because they'd seen it before. He never had, so there was this mechanical punching bag, mechanical bull, and 300 guys dancing with girls holding them by the hair. So he thought, here's a story. And then he called me up and called me at 3 o'clock in the morning and told me to get down there right away and do a story. So I waited till morning, and then I got on a plane and flew to Houston. Went in, and actually I decided that I was going to make this a love story. And I wanted two lovers who'd met at Gillies and kept coming back to Gillies. I wanted a real Gillies couple. And I wanted the guy to work for a petroleum plant. And all night long I tried to find somebody who worked for a petroleum plant who'd met somebody at Gillies with no luck whatsoever. People wouldn't even lie to me and tell me that they'd met at Gillies. Then finally at 2 o'clock in the morning, this girl comes in and writes the bull standing up. And I think this might be a good person to talk to. She met her ex-husband at Gillies. They had their wedding reception at Gillies. Then the mechanical bull came to Gillies, and she could write it better than he could, and he couldn't stand that. Their marriage broke up at Gillies. So I thought, this will work. Anyway, that's how the story happened in the magazine.
Do you still know who those people are, the girl? Or have you kept in contact over the years? Or maybe they said, wow, look what happened. This kind of turned into a movie, and now the musical and everything like that. I mean, have you kept in contact with them? Or?
For the first several years, for the first at least 5 years, I stayed in pretty close touch with them.
Were they still married?
By and large, no, but Sissy and Bud never got back together in real life. Sissy's father committed suicide. Yeah. The outlaw finally got out of prison, started a business repairing cars, was living with his wife, of all of them, he was the only one living with his own children and his own wife. A regular life with the outlaw.
Wow.
Bud had been roaming the country doing jobs, construction jobs wherever he could find them. He worked on an atomic energy plant in California, a coal mine in the Dakotas, and he pulled a trailer behind his pickup. And since the police told him he couldn't shoot a gun off in his trailer house, he had a crossbow, so he was sitting in his living room with his crossbow and shoot at a target in the living room to pass the time.
Did you have any idea that this would turn into as big of a... I mean, honestly, the movie Urban Cowboy, I'm from Texas, but Urban Cowboy is pretty much a movie that should be required in every school in Texas because it does tell the story of Texas. But I mean,
Well, I agree with you. It should be required.
yeah, but I mean, all jokes aside, it's a very influential movie, not just in Texas, but I mean, worldwide. The reception is just incredible. Of course, John Travolta credits it with his launch, his start. Obviously, he was doing television, but I mean, this is a movie that catapulted him.
Right.
Did you have any idea that that story that you wrote was turned into something like this?
I thought it was a great story, but that's about all I thought it was. I was stunned when suddenly about 100 motion picture companies called, and they were really serious. I'd had calls from motion picture companies before, but nothing ever came of them but these people were serious. Pretty soon we were casting the movie before we'd even written it.
And
wrote and continued casting for the next several months.
And I mean, John Travolta, Deborah Winger, of course, your principals in the movie, just amazing. Did you have any idea that those are big names?
When I heard Travolta came to us. He was working on the Paramount lot, and he was supposed to do American Gigolo. And he was working on the Paramount lot near us. He decided he wanted to do Urban Cowboy instead. When I first heard that, I was sick. I thought, this kid from New Jersey can't play a cowboy. Boy, was I wrong. He's a terrific actor. We were so lucky to have him. He could play Chinese, I think, and make you believe he was Chinese. Deborah Winger, we came down here to Houston without a leading lady and kept doing our casting down here. And we brought 3 girls down to dance with John and ride the bull and do scenes from the script. And finally, one of them was Michelle Pfeiffer, the other was Deborah Winger, and I've forgotten the third girl's name.
Wow, did not know that about Michelle Pfeiffer.
And Deborah used to go out to Gillies on her own and practice riding the bull. And one night she went out and she had skin-tight red pants on and red shoes with heels about 5 inches high. And she got on the bull and rode it like she was making love to it. And the whole place got really quiet and came to a sudden stop. She stopped the show like nobody ever had, as far as I'd ever seen it at Gillies.
And that's probably when you decided, okay, we got to do this.
I wanted her from the beginning.
That's awesome. That's great. So what do you think about seeing this live now on the stage?
I love theater. I love doing theater, and this is a wonderful cast. It might be the best all-around cast we've ever had, and they've made some changes in it that make it run smoother. It's just very exciting for me. One, to see it change and still be a living thing, and especially it's now 31 years old.
And it's still doing big things for you. It's still doing wonderful
still
things.
rumbling along.
Yeah, well, it's a great story. Did you get a chance to ever meet Mickey Gilley? And I'm sure you did, hang out.
Many times. He had a recording studio right next door to Gillies. We used to go over there and listen late at night to him, just playing and recording standard songs. We got to be pretty good friends.
Aaron Latham, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Fantastic story. I'm really looking forward to seeing the show live.
Good to meet you guys.
Thank you.